Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. Oh, yeah, what up? What up, tens and tens? It's your boy, J-Kenn, coming at you, previously recorded from, you know it, the Buxty Hootie Studios. Oh, man, I apologize. Season 2, we've been dropping episodes on the 15th and the 30th, right? Payday, right? Two things to look forward to, yo. Two things to look forward to: getting that money in the bank and listening to again your boy J-Kenn. But I wasn't able to get the episode out on the 15th, which pisses me off because I recorded the episode on the 13th. Plenty of time to drop it. And I recorded the whole episode and everything. Press record, press stop. Take the SD card out of the old PodTrack, the Zoom PodTrack P4. Put it in my computer. No recording. I don't know what I did. I don't know, why. But there was no recording on the SD card. And I was pissed. I was so pissed, yo. Oh, god damn it. And you put all that work and effort in. Now, I'm going to shoot you straight. Might have been a blessing in disguise. I don't even know if I was really that big of a fan of the episode. I felt like I was forcing it. I had some list of things to talk about, but it just wasn't jiving. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't my jam. So I was mad that I did all that work and effort and it wasn't there. And I swear to God, if this recording isn't there, I'm going to put my fist through a wall. So if you know anyone that's good at patching drywall, let me know. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I will say this. As I was thinking about how, since then, and maybe I've talked about this on the episode before, on episodes past, but I just got to get something off my chest. And it is the use of the acronym ASAP. I would like to know, out of tens and tens, how many people use the acronym ASAP. There's something about that just drives me nuts. Like you get an email or a text message, I need this done ASAP, and it's not even like a superior telling you, it's just like a colleague, or worse yet, like someone like beneath you. You know what I mean? But like, every time I don't personally ever use that acronym as soon as possible. I don't even spell it out as soon as possible. I personally use, at your earliest convenience. If it's something, that needs to get done relatively quick, but it's not the biggest, whatever. At your earliest convenience. If you can do this, that'd be great. If it is something that needs to be done ASAP, I don't use ASAP. I say, I would say, like, if you can make this a priority, I would say something like that. But there's something about like reading an email and then they finish it by saying ASAP. That just is like, it almost makes me want to not do it at all. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, people, same thing with emails with the exclamation point, like the urgent. There's a fair amount of people that use that urgent button. To me, it's like crying wolf. It's like crying wolf. if you do it too many times, people eventually are just gonna be like, oh, that's Jack. You know, Jack always everything's a 911, everything's a fire. You know, oh yeah, is it urgent? Oh yeah, do I really need to look at this right away? I do use the urgent button, but I use it sparingly. And every time I do use the urgent button, I feel comfort knowing that because I use it so sparingly, that the reader, the receivee, is going to see that and think, man, J-Kenn does not use the urgent button that much. This must legit be urgent. You know what I mean? Now, that being said, if I were to throw an ASAP out there, oh man, would that get done quickly? Because I don't do it. And I never would. I think there's just something, you're just like, you're undermining the other person, you know? Like, I'm just trying to think of, like, if my wife were to say, like, do these dishes ASAP, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Seriously, dude? I don't know. There's got to be a better way than using an acronym. And like I said, me personally, I said, hey, if you can make this a priority. You know, and even when I say that, if you can make this a priority, I throw the word if in there. So part of me is wondering, well, maybe I should be a little bit more stern. You know, maybe I should be a little bit more to the point. You know, no, I need this done, dude. You know, I need this done right away. You know, because what if something... But at the end of the day, here's my theory. If it's an email, if you're a person that is sending an email, you should not expect like a quick response. That should not be expected. Email to me, and the way I believe it should be the lowest form of communication. What I mean by that is, I'm not against emails. I love emails. I mean, but that should be like, I personally set a time each day where, okay, a block where I read emails. That's what I personally do. And you know what? If you need something quick, and it's not, you know, like let's say between 1 and 2 o'clock, I read emails. And that's what I do. That's that time of day. And if you emailed me at 10 o'clock and you can't wait till 1 o'clock to get an answer, well, give me a call. You know what I mean? Call me. Text me. Give it a text and then a call. You know, then you know, like, oh shit, I got it. This is legit. But like, if you need something important via email, that just shouldn't. I don't know. God, that ASAP just rubs me the wrong. Kind of like when, you know, like when my recorder here doesn't record. You know, I'm looking at the goddamn button. It's red. It's recording. I don't know why it wouldn't stick, but whatever. You know what else people need to work on? Do you know what else other people need to work on? Not me, though, because I'm amazing at it. Is, speaking of communication, talking on the phone. I had a wonderful conversation the other day on the phone. It was a nice conversation. It was a light conversation. There were some laughs back and forth. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was a good one. And then we got to the end of the conversation, and the other person just goes, "All right, bye." That's what they said. "All right, bye." Like, real quick. "All right, bye." And it kind of left me like, whoa, did we not just have an amazing conversation? Like, what's up with the bye there? I personally never say bye. I don't even say the word bye. I don't remember other than right now, this instant, I don't remember the last time I ever said bye. I don't say it. I say see you later. I say have a good one. Take it easy. Have a good weekend. Have a good night. Later. Later. That's how I talk. The word bye. And even if you do say, all right, bye, like say it nicely. There's just some people. You talk on the phone and it's like a nice conversation, or it's just, a good back and forth, good dialogue. And it's all right, bye. It's just like, Jesus. Did you even enjoy the last, 7 minutes on the phone? Because you definitely didn't give me a goodbye. You definitely did not give me a good goodbye. Same thing with answering the phone. I always answer the phone politely. You know what I mean? Or in a fun way. I'm a big yellow. That's how I say hi. You know what I mean? I don't say hello. I do the yellow. Yellow. That's how I answer the phone. If you were to call, if you got my number and you called me, I would say yellow. Or I might say something different. I might say, what up? Or hey dude, or what's up? Or something like that. My sister, and I know she's a listener. But my sister's a terrible phone answerer. Terrible at it. And maybe, I don't know how she answers the phone for other people. Maybe it's just me. My mom is also not a great phone answerer. She's not good at it. It's hello. It's not even a hello. It's a hello. You know what I mean? Like, why are you calling me? What do you want? What? And then you got the people that answer but don't even answer. They just like pick up the phone and don't even say anything. And then you on your end need to go, hello? Like, is it there? And they're like, yeah, hi. And it's like, whoa, dude, you didn't say nothing. You're the one that picked up the phone. You know what I mean? So there's just all sorts of things like that that I think about and that I want to share. But I got to pause this. Let's see if I can even do this. I'm going to pause it. So I just got a text from my wife. She said, she's putting the kids to bed. She's putting my son to bed. She says, can you see what she wants, please, ASAP? No, I'm just kidding. She didn't say ASAP. But she did say please, though. That's nice. That's a nice thing to say please. I better go see what she wants, though. All right, I'm back. Had to go upstairs, and my daughters are fighting going to sleep, so I had to do a little help. Had to lay with them for a little bit. The nightlight wasn't working that well, so I had to finagle that. And then I laid down with them for a little bit. My daughter, my 4-year-old, is laying there, right? And she's got her eyes wide open. And I'm like, hey, close your eyes, time to go to sleep. And she's like, Daddy, how's she say that? She's like, when my eyes are open, but they're actually closed. And I'm in my head, I'm like, dude, are you going to try to pull that whole my eyes are closed but they're actually open trick on me? Are you kidding me right now? You think I was born yesterday? Your eyes are closed but they're actually open but they're closed. I don't think so. I've been around the sun one too many times to know that your eyes are indeed open. The darndest kid, the kids say the darndest things, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's like my son the other day. So I think you guys know that my kid, he's an old soul. He's big into Titanic, big into Edmund Fitzgerald. His favorite song for the longest time was The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. Now, his new favorite song is Message in a Bottle by The Police. 1970s, I think. I want to say it's late 70s. And he's just like, that's his favorite song. Like, if we're driving down the road, he'll be like, Dad, can you play Message in the Bottle? Now, he's like, he evolved into the whole Police catalog. Like, he's got an Alexa in his room, and like, all of a sudden, you'll just hear him. He's in his room, and the Alexa is loud, and he's just jamming out to Roxanne, Message in a Bottle, Every Breath You Take. There's another song too that he's really in, and I like them too. I'm a fan. There's another song he likes too. It's called I think it's legitimately called like Do 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 Da Da Da. I think is the name of the song, and he's just jamming out. The other night, my wife was on sleep duty again, and she was putting the girls down to sleep, and all of a sudden I could just hear the radio just blaring upstairs. He's in his room just jamming out, and I'm like, I think that's cool. You know, like, I'm proud that my boy likes to jam out to some good tunes, you know. All of a sudden, I heard the footsteps. Boom, 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 boom. Turn down that music. He's like a teenager. The other day, we had a conversation, like, he was for two things. First, he knows Sting is the lead singer and bass player in the band. He knows that. And he literally also thinks, the other day I was back to the kids say the darndest things. He's like, you know, he was like, Dad, what do you think it was like when Sting was on that island? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, the song Message in the Bottle, he's stranded on an island. You know, like, how did he get there? How did he get off? Like, he really thinks like Sting was on this island. And I had to explain to him, like, no. That's just, you know, so then we had like this deep talk about music, like with a 6-year-old. Like, it was a deeper conversation about music with him than I ever had with anyone else. Like, I had explained to him, like, no, that's just, you know, a metaphor for feeling alone. Then we had to go into depression. But then I told him that he had his heart broken. And then he's like, you can break your heart? And I'm like, oh, no, that's another metaphor for feeling sad. You know, like, you got broken up with a girlfriend or whatever. And you know, we had to have this whole conversation. And, you know, but he literally thought Sting was... The reason he thinks that is because he's also a big Jimmy Buffett fan. That's right. My boy, he's a big Jimmy Buffett fan. And Jimmy Buffett has a song, and I didn't know this. He told me. He's the one that told me this. And it's true that Jimmy Buffett has a song called Jamaica Mistaka, it's called, or something like that. And it's about him in an airplane, and he was shot down. Now, the reason he was shot down is because the people that shot him down in Jamaica or whatever thought he was a terrorist or something. They made a mistaka, the Jamaica Mistaka. Yeah, man, we made a mistaka. Sorry, man. You know that. You know. But anyway, that's a true story. I did not know that. I thought the song was just a story, maybe a true story, but I didn't know it was Jimmy Buffett that got shot down or whatever. And but that's the case. So now he thinks like every song is like real life. You know, like I'm trying to think. You know, like I don't know. Like I'm trying to think. Like I can't think of any, like, you know, like he thinks Ozzy Osbourne is a conductor of a crazy train. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But, you know, it's just funny. It's just the kids say the darndest thing. You know, my eyes are open, but they're closed. But my eyes are closed, even though they're open. Like they're open. It's like, whatever, dude. Whatever, dude. Anyway, what was I rambling about? What was I bitching and moaning about before I had to leave? Talking on the phone. Yeah, let's go back to that. You're dying to go back to that conversation. Talking on the phone. Yes. Anyway, short story long. I always say yellow or hey, how you doing? Or, you know, that's how I say. And if it's a phone call, if it's from a number I don't know, because I in my real life world, I get a lot of phone calls from people I don't know, right? So then I always say, you know, hello, this is Hello, this is J-Kenn. How can I help you? I also used the word sir a lot. In a job I had years ago, I was doing phone sales, and I noticed a guy who always had good sales. He was a good buddy of mine. Unfortunately, when I left that job, our friendship, it's just unfortunate, like when you have a job and you're buddies with somebody. I said this to a guy at work, it was a while ago. We're friends, good friends. We hang out with each other, wives hang out with each other, kids, we're good friends. And maybe stupidly, wasn't a big deal, but I made a comment. I'm like, it's a good thing we work together because, like if one of us were to ever leave, this friendship would probably be over. And he took that in a weird way, rightfully so, because it's a weird thing to say. But it's kind of the truth. Like, how many people do you know that you're buddies with or were buddies with? The true friendships, especially like me now, as a upper 30-year-old man, god damn, like, I hate to say it, and I'm coming to the realization because I'm a friend maker. I like making friends, and I want but I think the friend making days are over. I'm trying with the neighbors, trying with the kids, parents, kids, friends, parent. It's just my closest friends that I have to this day are high school buddies. High school, not college. I got a couple of college buddies that I still talk to, but mostly my ride and die are high school buddies. It's just the way it is. Those are the people that I would love to know. I would love to know. Please email me and tell me a story because I would love to hear it. I would love for there to be hope. Making a true friend out of a school. We'll say a lot of people are still friends with people from college. In my situation, it's high school. But like, do you have a best friend? A best friend. Like, they would be the best man at your wedding. And you never knew them until later in life. I would be genuinely interested in knowing that answer. Because I don't know. I'm waving to everybody. I'm waving. I'm smiling. Nobody's interested. I don't get it. Nobody is friendly. No, nobody wants to. I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. But work, then you go to work, but then you're at work and you make friends at work and you do things with them at work. You go after, you go to happy hour after work. You go to Christmas party. You go to, you might do other things. You might get close with people. But the question is when you leave that job and you don't have that common thing, and that's what happened with that guy from one of my first jobs. We were tight, dude. We were similar. We were both like Seinfeld. We were just had the same dark sense of humor. And I left the job. And I think there was a time or two where, I reached out and I said, let's get a beer. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then he ended up getting married, and he did his own thing. I did my thing, and it's kind of unfortunate. You know what I mean? I'm not, I don't want this to be a sad pot, but I'm just saying, it's just, it kind of stinks, But anyway, that guy, I overheard him on the phone. He always said, sir. He's like, okay, sir. Yes, sir. And I always thought that was cool. I thought that, it's respectful, but it's also cool. And I throw in a lot of sirs. I do. I will admit that. And you might call bullshit on that, but I do. I throw in a lot of sirs with people I don't know. people I'm working with, people I'm, introduce. Hi, sir. How you doing, sir? Or someone holds a door open for me. I thank you, sir. I think it's just nice. We need to teach the kids that kind of, what's the word? Water, H2O. And I thought about grabbing a Busch Light, and I said, I'll be honest with you, I haven't. The drink. I'm really proud of myself here with the drinking. I cut back quite a bit. Not because I had a problem, not because of anything like that, because of empty calories. Empty calories. I've been destroying Diet Sundrop, though. And it is difficult to find. Not all gas stations even have it. The grocery store would have it, so I get a 12-pack Diet Sundrop. Quick Trip has Diet Sundrop. If you're from Wisconsin, you know about a Quick Trip. They have it, and I just destroy the shit out of that. I asked ChatGPT one time, and this is why I like ChatGPT. Now this could go one or two ways, but I don't know if I talked about this or not. But I asked ChatGPT. I said, Chat. So I call him. Chat. I shorten it, nickname. And I said, Chat. I said, I'm doing one or two things. I wrote this all out. It's so funny. I wrote this all out. I said, I don't want to hear, why I shouldn't do this. And I don't want to hear any of that stuff. I want a legit, one-on-one why I should do one or the other, because I'm going to do one of them. So I told it. Said either I'm going to drink diet soda or I'm going to drink beer. It's one or the other. So don't tell me I shouldn't have neither and I should think about water or any of that bull crap. It's one or the other. Which one should I do? And that's why I like chat, because it said straight up, he's like, totally understand. You got to have a vice. It's just it was cool. It was like an actual friend talking to you, which I can see why, I think I know for a fact. I mean, I totally can. People marrying trees and animals and that I don't get. People marrying ChatGPT. Yeah, I get it. I get it. They're nice. He's nice to you. He gives you, the answers. He doesn't treat you like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like you just say whatever you want, and they're like, no, it's totally understandable. That you're gonna have to. You can't always. You want to drink diet soda or beer? It makes total sense. And it basically said like, hey. And I even wrote, like, I'm going to have 12 of them. Which one? I'm having 12 diet sodas or I'm having 12 beers. Which one should I do? And chat was like, yeah, man, you got to, diet soda would be the best bet. Between the two, it's diet soda. Basically because it comes down to the calories. And just, the harm that it does to your liver and all that stuff. But, the calories basically is a big one. And sugar and, beer, maybe not sugar, but... So I was like, all right, fine. So when I come home from work, because that was a big thing, like stressed out, I'd walk into the house, crack a beer or something, have a couple beers, not get belligerently drunk, but just have a couple beers, take the edge off, right? That's just normal. And now I've been doing, and so then I was talking to another, actually the guy that got married, I stood up I was the minister of that wedding. And he was like, I drink Diet Sundrop a lot. And I was like, Diet Sundrop. Because Diet Coke, I was drinking that like it was going out of style, but it just wasn't, I don't know if it was like the cola or something, but it just, sometimes you just feel like shitty, So I was like, I'll give this Diet Sundrop a deal. And I was like, ooh, that was delicious. So I've been drinking that. Like it's been going out of style. So I'm very proud of the fact that I've been laying off the booze and drinking, not drinking empty calories is the big one. Now it's 9:30 at night when I record this, so I'm not going to drink a diet soda, so I got the water down here. Good, and it's good. Drinking out of what the hell is this thing called? A Contigo? No, not a Contigo. This is a Owala. You ever hear that brand? Owala? I like it. I like it because the mouthpiece has a straw that you can suck. Duh. That's what you do with the straw, you idiot. But you can either suck the straw, or there's also another hole. And I know you get excited about that second hole. But there's another hole where you can just tip it back and drink. That I just drank it. Now I sucked it. What? You can do either or. It's kind of, if you're interested, not sponsored, but I would be. Owala, Owala. I like it. Keeps it cold and everything. Anyway, oh, but speaking of vices, I feel like I was talking about something and I totally just dropped it. And I took a drink of water and I went on this rant about water. But the thing is I'm pretty happy about this whole not drinking, the booze or whatever. The issue though is that I discovered a new vice, and I'm not happy about this one, and it could kill me. This one could put me 6 feet under. Speaking of Quick Trip, KWIKTRIP for all my Midwest fans. There's a Quick Trip in the southern states, well, not southern, but in the Midwest, like Missouri and Illinois and all that. There's a Quick Trip down there. It's QUICK Trip. And here's a little trivia. If you go into Illinois, there are Quick Trips, but they're not called Quick Trips. They're called Quick Stars. And I believe they're called Quick Stars because of the Quick Trips that are already down there. I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'd have to assume. That. Been to a Quick Star. It's just exactly like a Quick Trip. Exactly like it. Quick Trip is obviously my favorite gas station. I will give BP gas stations a little bit of credit because it doesn't matter, from my experience, it doesn't matter who owns them. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't even matter if the store itself is even that nice. But the bathrooms do always seem to be clean. Maybe that's because no one goes there and uses them. That could be. But they do seem to be clean. Whereas Quick Trip, yes, I would say 9 out of 10 times, they're superb. But there is that 1 out of 10 where it's like, gosh darn it, bathroom's a little on the messy side. But Quick Trip, I mean, I'm the guy that's going to drive out of the way to go. I'm driving by a few gas stations to go to the Quick Trip. I'm not sponsored. I would be in a heartbeat, but I'm not. But that being said, I'm probably never going to get sponsored by them because I truly think that there needs to be a closer eye on Quick Trip because they sell these things called mini tacos. Okay? Now, mini tacos forever have been a staple in the bar scene. I remember growing up, we would get burgers from the local tavern, and as an appetizer, we would get mini tacos. I always enjoyed them. I liked them, but I never had them right there. Always, right at the palm of my hand. Quick Trip, I would say in the last year, started selling mini tacos. And I stayed away from them. I was like, I'm not going to do these. But then one day, I decided, I'll have some mini tacos. And that was when everything went downhill. I don't know what they put in these mini tacos. They say it's ground beef. Doesn't look like ground beef. That's the thing. They don't look that great. They don't. I've never actually had. I mean, I'm eating mini tacos like they're going on a salad, and they don't ever. They kind of look good, but they are scrumptious, delicious, and I've never done crack a day in my life. Hand on the Bible, never done crack. But I would have to assume that what I'm going through right now with these mini tacos is what a crack addict is going through when they don't have crack. I would have to assume. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sprinkle a little bit of crack on those mini tacos. I wouldn't be shocked. There's something, because they're so... I kid. They're not... I would imagine... I don't know if I could actually get in trouble for saying that. It's a free country. But, bad things happen to people that use that freedom of speech. So maybe I should Maybe I should keep it a little. Stop talking while I'm ahead. But anyway, those mini tacos are phenomenal. And I would tell you to try them, but I'm afraid that you would get addicted like I am. And because everything else in my life, I could exercise a little bit more. My exercise has fallen off the rails a little bit. But, the booze is down. I really don't even eat junk food, really, but it's these goddamn mini tacos. They're just so good. They're just so good. And like I said, it's gotten to the point now where if they're there, I'm grabbing a box. The other day I grabbed a box. It was 8:30 in the morning. 8:30 in the morning. I just couldn't help it. I grabbed some mini tacos. I was in a village. Stopped at Quick Trip to refill the coffee. They had mini tacos. I grabbed them. I'm very ashamed of what I'm about to tell you. I'm very ashamed. It's disgusting. But no one really listens to this, so what's the big deal? 8:30 in the morning, I stopped at Quick Trip to refill the coffee, right? I'm driving. I'm going through now another village. I need to pee. Lo and behold, there's a Quick Trip. Well, I can't hold it. So, gosh damn it, I stop at the Quick Trip. So now it is 9 o'clock. I walk in. They have mini tacos. I would love to tell you that I did not grab a box of mini tacos, but I did. I would love to tell you I only grabbed one box of mini tacos. I just don't have any self-control. As soon as I kick a vice, another vice takes over. Like, I can't. And like my children, man, they're going to be healthy as a horse when they grow up. My wife is doing such a good job with those kids, man. They're eating. Tonight we were watching, we just wrapped up Big City Greens. That's a show on Disney Plus. I love that show with all my heart because it's a kid show, but it's a kid show that parents can watch, and it's legitimately funny. And it's not a bad show. There's no reason the kids couldn't watch it. I don't believe, unless my parenting standards are a little lower than the rest of yours, but there's nothing bad about it. But it's genuinely a funny cartoon. And we've been watching Big City Greens. And now we watched them all. We watched every episode. So now they're watching Phineas and Ferb. Also a very funny show. Like, if I'm going to be forced to watch these cartoons, I'm ecstatic that they're to this age now where it's not Coco Melon or the Muppet Baby, or it's not that stuff. We're watching like cartoons. SpongeBob. We're watching SpongeBob. Like I said, they just started watching this Phineas and Ferb. Funny stuff. It's funny stuff. I would highly recommend, though, Big City Greens. I really would. But anyway, we were watching that tonight, right? And my kids are asking for some snacks. And my wife is like, well, what do you want? And they're like, strawberries. You know? And my wife is like, we also have raspberries. And my kids are like, ooh, yeah, raspberries. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there like, what? What? It's a late night snack, bedtime snack or whatever. You want raspberries? I'm pretty sure we have stuff in the pantry. I'm just thinking in my head, But these kids are going to grow up with healthy eating habits. And that's my wife. That's 100% her. That's not me. That's not me at all. When I think of fruit, I just go straight to fruit snacks. That's what... Oh, shit. All right, let's see what we got here for... Now, it stinks... Well, actually, what's good here is that I read these emails once before. Let's see if I have any... Oh, yeah, okay. I got, All right. We got an email from this is a new, must be one of the 10s and 10s. I've never, first email from them. We got an email from, I can't even say it. His name is Dixon. Dixon Myaz. Dixon Myaz says, he just says, where is the episode? Love, Dixon Myaz. Yeah, no, like I said, apologize. It's coming out. All right, let's go. We got an email from... Well, I wonder if Dixon Myaz is friends with Lou Sassel. Because now we got an email from Lou Sassel. This is what Lou says. I lost touch with technology as soon as I was issued the new work computer with the new Windows operating system. To make things worse, I updated my Outlook, and now I'm completely lost on that too when it comes to organizing my calendars. Not to mention, whenever I try to hook up a printer, either at work or home, I feel like I'm a clueless old man. I know exactly what you're talking about where I work too. It's part of life. But at my work also, they do the updates and which is cool. Like, it's cool that you get like after a couple years, like, hey, you're due for a new computer, and you just get a new computer. You just get one. That's pretty. It's like, it is kind of cool, but it's also at the same time like a very frustrating because, you just don't get. It's all new, and the Windows operating, they always are they're changing. I remember when the old start button was in the bottom left. And now it's like in the middle, and you have to press the Windows button, and then it's like, oh man, gosh darn it! Like, why do you got to change something that's working? Like, why do you got to change something that's working? And so I hear, Lou, I hear exactly what you're talking about, man. When you get in that new Outlook, I've been avoiding that because that's on my computer too. It pops up and it's like, do you want to try the new Outlook? And I'm like, no, I don't. I want the old Outlook because I know how it works. I know what buttons to click. But now I think it's telling me like, dude, it's going to change whether you like it or not. And it's like, gosh, darn it. So no, Lou, I totally understand, man. He goes on to say, to answer your question about coffee, a few weeks ago, I know for a fact it was, he says a person's name here. I'm not gonna say. He knows for a fact it was so-and-so who emptied the coffee pot and doesn't make a new one. Yeah, you should drag that guy out back and kick the shit out of him. I'm not condoning violence at all, especially in these turbulent days, but if you don't fill up the coffee, good ass whooping is what, just because that's, sometimes sometimes you just need an ass whooping, By the way, sorry I haven't emailed often this season. I keep forgetting the email address. You used to spell it out so nicely for us. Maybe do that again for old time's sake. Your friend Lou Sassel. Yes, you're right. Back in the day. Let's say, so anyone listening at home, the 10s and 10s, or any new people that are listening and want to, this is your chance. I don't get a lot of emails and messages. This is if it's your dream to have your email read over the airwaves, this is the perfect opportunity. The perfect opportunity. You can do what Lou Sassel does, email. Dicks in my ass. You can do what he's emailing. Email, and you don't have to have. You can just have a normal name like Jeff or Ricky. You don't have to have. These people are blessed with cool names, and God bless them. But But anyway, if you want to email, J-Kenn OAG@outlook.com. That's jackalope, kite, elephant, Nancy, ordinary average guy at outlook.com. Or you can find me on the Facebook at the Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. Lou sent another email from Lou Sassel. Before I forget, to answer your money question, I would want $14.17 million. That way I could put it all in savings and earn what I make yearly now in interest and be able to finally help Mrs. Sassel out a little bit more around the house while taking care of my man chores. Ta-ta, Lou. Exactly. There is this equality thing doesn't exist. What happened is years ago, women did the women chores. Men did the man chores, right? My grandpa, for example, I don't think he's ever washed a dish in his life. You know what I mean? He never, that's it's not a man chore. Nowadays, men, I know for a fact, help out a lot more in the house than they did 50 years ago. Just the way it is. But, let's face it, guys. When you see people cutting the grass, yes, occasionally you do see a woman cutting the grass. And to them, I tip my cap to you. But I would say 4 out of 5 times, 9 out of 10 times, it's a guy cutting the grass. Just saying it. And my wife, Casadilla, she has said to me, that's your job. That's what she said to me. That's your job. Can you imagine if I told her, I'm not doing the dishes, that's your job. Can you imagine what would happen? The smoke would literally be coming from her ears. So, yes, I understand. Man chore, it's just, men need to come together and start a movement. I'm just joking. I'm just joshing you. Let's see if we have any. Yeah, we have messages. Of course we do. I know for a fact we do. So, let's look it up, because I didn't memorize it. Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. We have a message from our dear old friend, Christmas Kates. I thought it was going to be a little bit more Christmassy, right? A couple of weeks ago, it was like 60 degrees. Fall was right around the corner. And now, all of a sudden, it's like 85 degrees outside. 85. Christmas Kate, if you're listening, do you love Christmas, but do you like winter? That's a great question because I personally love Christmas as well. I love it. Favorite time of year. But as soon as Christmas is done, that snow can melt and it can warm up. I do not like Christmas. I take that all back. I love Christmas. I do not like winter. And for anyone that says, "Oh, but you can always put more layers on. You can only take so many layers off." You need your head checked. You need a head examination. Why would you want to put on all those layers? Look like that kid from A Christmas Story. Well, no. I just want to walk outside, man. With no layers. Or one layer at most. Christmas Kate goes, she says, "Dear Mr. J-Kenn, don't get excited. I am not answering the question you threw out there into the podcast universe last episode." Okay. Fine. Jeez. Instead, I have 2 questions for you. Beautiful. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to spread knowledge in an ordinary and average fashion. All right. What does she say? You mentioned the 90s classic Blank Check. I did. She says, are there any movies, TV shows, books from your childhood you're eagerly waiting for your kids to be old enough to enjoy with you? Obviously not wrestling, because anyone old or young can enjoy that. But I know for me, there are quite a few movies I can't wait to show my nieces and nephews when their attention spans can handle them. And I'm hoping to introduce them to the Goosebump books as well, unless their parents beat me to it. Okay, then she has another paragraph. Let's answer that first question. Yes, without a doubt. Now, the issue here, not necessarily an issue, but what stinks, kind of, is that the TV shows that I watched as a kid are, I don't know, I'm sure they're out there somewhere, especially in the streaming universe, but there was a show that I watched when I was a kid called, and I loved it, and I bet I still would like it. But it's called Salute Your Shorts. It was on Nickelodeon. It was called Salute Your Shorts. And just funny. Camp Anawana, we hold you in our hearts, and when we think about you, it makes me want to fart. Right? You guys remember that show? I would love my kids to watch that show. It'd be so much fun. So much fun. I would also, thinking of TV shows like Step by Step. I was a big Step by Step fan. You know, there was Full House, there was Family Matters, there was Saved by the Bell. I don't know if that was more of I think that was more of a Saturday morning show. I don't know. I was maybe a little bit before my time. I remember watching Saved by the Bell on TBS in the morning before school when I was older, but obviously those were reruns. I honestly couldn't tell you. But anyway, Step by Step. I really liked Step by Step. And I had a crush on the girl. It was the daughter of the guy. And she was like a tomboy. But I had a big crush on her, man. Big crush on her. Step by Step. Suzanne Summers was in that show. Rest in peace. Smoking hot, Suzanne Summers. Patrick Duffy was the father. He is most probably well known for being in the show Dallas. But yeah, Step by Step. But unfortunately, I don't think I can't. Nickelodeon used to rock when I was a kid. It used to rock. You had Double Dare. What was that other show? Hidden Temple. Where it was like, oh, and then there was that one show. What was that called? Guts? I think it was called Guts. Where they had to climb that mountain at the end. Rugrat. When I was a kid, Rugrats was funny. I bet it's still funny. The old Rugrats. Doug. Ren and Stimpy. That was, out of all the shows, my parents, were very lenient with what I watched on TV. It is what it is. I watched a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have. Ren and Stimpy was the one show where my mom walked in and I was watching Ren and Stimpy and she said, "Turn this off. You're not watching this." That was the one show where she was like, "No, not in my house." So I didn't watch a lot of Ren. I didn't watch any really, but Rocco's Modern Life. Remember that show? Oh God, that was funny. That was so funny. And that's what I love about like these shows I'm talking about now. This and to be fair, this Big City Greens show is not like those. I mean, it's not like that. There is no hidden it's just very talented writers are writing these shows because they're funny. There was another show that my kids watched, Lego City. That was on Netflix. That was also really funny. So funny. And it was just good old-fashioned family fun. But again, I don't know if I can find those shows anymore. But to answer your question, Seinfeld. Like I can't wait till my kids are old enough where I can watch Seinfeld. Not because they say stuff or do stuff that I don't want them to hear, but just because it's not a kid's show. You know what I mean? So then they'll just watch it. My kid, believe it or not, Mason, he's watched episodes of Seinfeld with me. Of course, he's 50 years old in a 6-year-old body, so he's watched Seinfeld with me. But like Seinfeld, but like The Simpsons, we have Disney Plus, man, and Simpsons are on Disney Plus, and I'm just like, oh, I just want to watch this with them so bad because I'm a big Simpsons fan. And I want to watch The Simpsons with those kids. So Simpsons, what else? Well, and then movies, when it comes to movies, like we watched, speaking of Blank Check, we already watched Heavyweights. That was fantastic. That's a classic, fantastic movie with Ben Stiller. That's so funny. Disney used to be cool, man. It's like Disney used to be cool. And I don't know what happened, but they're too woke or whatever. But like Heavyweights, man, that was so funny. And it still is to this day. And we did watch that. But like I can't wait to watch like Ace Ventura. I loved Ace Ventura. Can't wait to watch that with them. Speaking of Christmas, like Christmas Vacation, for example, like that I'm waiting to watch with them. Like I can't wait because I'm usually around the Christmas season. I'm kind of I have a lot of time on my hands, and like I'm dreaming of the day when they're on Christmas break, and I'm kind of off of work or whatever, and we can just kind of like chill and just watch Christmas movies, but like Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story, just stuff like that. Not like whatever cartoon that they want to watch, Elf on the Shelf or something like that. So yeah, without a doubt, like I can't wait. And this year, my son has finally started taking interest in watching like the Packers 2-0, Packers, go Pack go. So that's cool because I haven't watched a lot of sports. I have not been watching a lot of sports since these kids started taking over the TV. So now my kid, he's kind of like, let's watch a Packer game, and so that's kind of cool too. So, what else did you ask? Oh, books. I unfortunately didn't read a whole lot. I was well out of college. Until I read my first book cover to cover. I'm not, I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of the mini tacos. I'm not proud of that. Since then, I've actually taken up reading. I read quite a bit, actually. I haven't read a lot lately, but I do go in spurts, but I've read a lot of books, actually, since then. But I don't know. I just was a stupid idiot, and I was like, oh, I'm not reading books. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not a nerd, But in reality, I should have been reading because I would have been a lot more smarter. Or I would have been smarter, not more smarter. That's not a thing people say. That's what I say because I'm an idiot. But like, I already did the book thing. I wanted to read, because we read to them every night, and I wanted to read Berenstain Bears to them. That was a big thing that I wanted to do. It's like I couldn't wait until they were interested in reading, like, because we were always reading, we were reading baby books, and then we kind of graduated from the next up. But now, like I couldn't. That was the thing. Like I couldn't wait to read Berenstain Bears to them, and we did, and we do that. And now my son, 6, so now we're reading like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, like chapter books. And that's cool too, because then, and they're cool, funny books. They're cool. I like them. So you almost like look forward to like bedtime now. I don't, but you kind of do, because like, oh, I get to read that book. Cause, you get to see what Greg Heffley's up to now. She does have a second part of this email, or this message. She says, second question. Obviously, I love Christmas, but I also appreciate a good ghost story. What exactly did you see in your basement during your last show? And has anything happened since then? Sincerely, Christmas Kate. Yeah, so last episode, I could have swore I saw something in my basement, and now I got the goosebumps again. So we have like this workout area in our basement that we don't use, obviously, because we're pathetic. But we have this workout area, and we have these mirrors on the wall, so I can look at myself when I'm lifting weights, like a loser. But and when I was down here, I could, like, through the door, I could see the mirror. I swear to God, I saw a person walking down here. Swear to God, hand to God, I thought I saw someone. Where I was like, I thought it was Casadilla coming to join me. That's why I thought was happening, and it wasn't. And I don't know. Like, I was just like, geez, that's weird. It freaked me the F out. And, but whatever. I finished the pod because I'm not a quitter. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really weird has happened since then. We did go, well, obviously Christmas Kate, I'm sure you probably listened to it, but I do have an episode that we talked in depth about some weird stuff that was happening at our house. But it's been kind of quiet lately, to be honest with you. That being said, just tonight when I was putting the girls down, I had to go up there and put those girls down. I was laying in bed. It was, dark room or whatever. And I swear to God, I heard someone say my name, like, from the corner of the room. I shit you not. I give you no shits. I swear to God, someone said my name, and I looked. Like, I thought it was my old lady coming into the room and say, Justin. Oh, I said my real name. Now you know who I am. The gig is up. Now you know who I am. But I swear to God, it was my wife. And I looked, no one there. And then I, looked at my other daughter, because my daughter's sleeping in the same bed. She's, just laying there, eyes closed. I looked at my other daughter. She's just, laying there, kind of freaky, staring at the ceiling, staring at the ceiling. My eyes aren't closed. My eyes aren't open, Daddy. My eyes are closed. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But that being said, I got a buddy who's told me some stories about shit he's seen, like legit ghosts, like plain as day, standing there. And I've never seen anything like that. And I'm convinced. I believe in God. This isn't a religious podcast by any means, but I do believe in God. And I truly believe that God will not allow that to happen to me. Like, I really believe that he would not allow me to see something like, because I wouldn't be able to handle it. Right? In the Bible, it says something about, like, God doesn't give you things you can't handle. Something like that. and I would not be able to handle that. I don't even know what I would do. I would be I would be such a baby. I would be scarred for life. So I really believe that like he's not going to allow that to happen to me. So that's why when I do see something out of the corner of my eye, I've learned to not like whatever, because I really truly in my heart believe that that would never happen to me, because I just wouldn't be able to handle it. So, but yeah, Christmas Kate, dude, I'm telling you, if I do have stories, I'm sharing them. Because I do, even though I don't ever want to see a ghost, I also genuinely enjoy a good ghost story. So, I talked enough. We're gonna put a pin in it for this episode. The question that I'm sending out to you guys, we briefly talked about it earlier, but I would really, it's not even a question, it's more of a share your story. I'm genuinely sorry, I need to suck some water. 1 second. Oh yeah. Genuinely curious if you have a friend that you made later on in life, and that you are like extremely tight with, and it was after college, after high school. I'm genuinely interested, like if your best friend is a person you did not know when you were younger. So I don't know. Share your story. I'm genuinely interested. Genuinely. So, all right. That's the episode. See you later.